Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 9. My name is Xavier Robert, coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Buhari, INEC chair meet over polls. Tinubu, Obi, Atiku, Kwankwaso, others sign peace accord. Plus, UN to convene as Ukraine allies seek votes for peace resolution. Details of these stories and more in a moment. First, in the news tonight, President Muhammad Buhari today met with the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, at the presidential villa Abuja over the forthcoming elections. The unscheduled meeting, according to Buhari, was at the instance of Yakubu, explaining it was all part of the efforts for the elections to hold successfully. The president hinted about the meeting while explaining his few minutes of lateness to the commissioning and handover of security equipment valued at over 12 billion naira to the military and Nigeria police force. According to him, he had been grounded in the electoral body for the 5 minutes he kept the Kakavit group waiting, reminding all that everything needed to be done for a successful election to be achieved. Meanwhile, President Muhammad Buhari today presided over a meeting of the National Security Council holding at the council chambers of the State House, Abuja. Believed to be the last before the elections, the security meeting comes 5 months after the council last met to receive updates from the service chiefs and heads of other security agencies. Present were Vice President Yemi Osibanjo, Chief of Defense Staff General Lucky Rabo, Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Isiaka Mo, Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Awal Gambo, the Inspector General of Police Usman Baba, and Directors General of the State Security Service and National Intelligence Agency Yusuf Bichi and Ahmed Abubakar, respectively. In the meantime, Vice President Yemi Osibanjo, on behalf of the President Muhammad Buhari, today unveiled the PMB Ministerial Scorecard Portal and Compendium at the State House Banquet Center, Abuja. Present at the unveiling were the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Nii Adebayo, Women Affairs Minister Pauline Talon and Minister of Youth and Sports Sunday Dare, among others. In another development, federal government has repatriated no fewer than 150 Nigerians said to be stranded in Niamey, Niger Republic, according to the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadiya Umar Farouk. The returnees were stranded in Niamey while they were attempting to go to Europe in search for greener pastures. The minister, who received the returnees at Aminu Kano International Airport in Kano, said the exercise was conducted in collaboration with the International Organization for Migration (IOM) and Economic Community of West African States. According to her, the returnees were brought back to Kano under the care of the IOM and ECOWAS from the Niger Republic through a voluntary repatriation program. On the Naira crisis, the Supreme Court today adjourned a case instituted by the state governments against the federal government, challenging the implementation of the Naira redesign. The Apex Court adjourned the case to March 3 for judgment. Earlier, the Apex Court consolidated the suits instituted by over 12 state governments. At the last hearing on February 15, 7 states joined the 3 initial states as co-plaintiffs, while Edo and Bayelsa states joined the federal government as co-defendants. The court, however, refused to join Abia State in the suit on the grounds that it came late with its originating summons. All efforts by Abia State government to be joined in the suit was turned down and was ordered to present its case at a later date. Still from the judiciary, Justice Nicholas Owebo of the Federal High Court in Ikoyi, Lagos, today granted an interim forfeiture of 14 properties in Lagos, Abuja and the United Arab Emirates (UAE) linked to the Kogi state government. The judge also ordered the preservation of the sum of 400 million recovered from one Aminu Falala. Justice Owebo granted the order following an ex parte application filed by the Lagos Zonal Command of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC). The application was supported by an affidavit deposed to by Adekombi Mojibola, an investigating officer with the EFCC. Meanwhile, Magistrate Court sitting in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, has remanded a member representing Eche Omuma Federal Constituency in the National Assembly, Ephraim Nwuzi, who is seeking re-election to the Nigerian Correctional Center, arraigned him for allegedly inciting violence over the coming elections in a trending video. Chief Magistrate Amadi O. Amadina ruled that the suspect be remanded for 10 days pending the outcome of an investigation by the police into the alleged offense. Offenses preferred against him include treasonable felony, conspiracy, inciting violence, promotion of communal crisis, and conspiracy. And politics, the presidential candidates for 18 political parties today signed a peace accord. Ahead of the attendance include Bola Tinubu, All Progressives Congress APC, Peter Obi, Labour Party LP, Omoyele Sowore, African Action Congress AAC, Atiku Abubakar, People's Democratic Party PDP, and Rabiu Kwankwaso, New Nigeria People's Party NNPP. In the meantime, Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), Professor Mahmood Yakubu, today revealed those who will attend the Commission's daily media briefing for the 2023 general elections update. Yakubu also reassured of the Commission's neutrality, insisting that INEC is not a political party and has no candidates in the election. He stated this as all political parties converged at the International Conference Center (ICC) in Abuja for the signing of the second peace accord. Still on electoral matters, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) has deployed officials to the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory to monitor the conduct of the 2023 general elections. In a statement today, the Executive Chairman of the Commission, Abdul Rashid Bauer, charged the operatives to be conscious of the interest of the nation. He also asked the operatives to exhibit a high sense of professionalism in the discharge of their duties. Meanwhile, Independent National Electoral Commission INEC in Osun State today began the distribution of sensitive election materials to various local government areas in the state ahead of Saturday's polls. The distribution, which took place on the premises of the Central Bank of Nigeria Osogbo branch, was witnessed by the representatives of the party's security agents, journalists, and INEC officials. Before the distribution commenced, there was, however, a melodrama as operatives of the Department of State Service stationed at the entrance to the bank prevented journalists and other people that were to observe the distribution from entering the premises. The security operatives had claimed that the management of the CBN Osogbo branch had instructed that they should not allow anyone into the premises. Meanwhile, Independent National Electoral Commission INEC has commenced distribution of sensitive election materials to the 20 local government areas in Lagos State. Recall that the electoral umpire had earlier fixed the presidential and National Assembly elections for Saturday, February 25, 2023. Confirming process was monitored by the Commissioner of Police in the state, CP Idowu Owohunwa. Still on electoral matters, United Kingdom has advised critical stakeholders and political parties to ensure violence-free elections ahead of the 2023 polls. The UK's Minister of State for Development and Africa, Andrew Mitchell, gave the advice in a statement noting that the UK and its government remain committed to supporting credible and inclusive elections, which are fundamental to Nigeria's continued democratic growth and to the future of regional and global democracy. He urged party officials to respect electoral laws and institutions as well as avoid hate speech. Elsewhere, the National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) has deployed over 200,000 corps members as ad hoc staff to partake in the general elections scheduled for Saturday. The Director General NYSC Yushal Ahmed said those to participate in the elections have already been trained by INEC officials both in and outside orientation camps, warning that they must not accept gifts from party agents. The NYSC DG stated these in Abuja while speaking on the preparedness of the organization for the forthcoming general elections. According to him, the body has put in place measures to ensure the security of corps members during and after the elections. In education, Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board (JAM) has announced suspension of its ongoing 2023 direct entry registrations. The board, in a statement by its head, Public Affairs and Protocol Fabian Benjamin, explained that the suspension is to enable the deployment of certain measures which are designed to better serve prospective candidates. The statement said a new date and fresh registration procedure, which will include the upload of JAM admission letter in the case of OND and NCE, admission letter issued by universities in the case of university diploma, and admission letter issued by A-level examination bodies would be announced in due course. The statement added that only JAM offices are approved to register candidates for direct entry. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Dumimania has charged all eligible voters in the state to participate in the Saturday's presidential and National Assembly elections. Governor Emmanuel gave the charge while addressing party faithful at the gubernatorial campaign rally of the People's Democratic Party in Nserubium. The governor, who stressed that voters are the only ones who would decide winners in the elections, urged them to follow all election procedures on election day to enable them cast a valid vote. He warned eligible voters against selling their permanent voter cards, PVCs, as it was the only power they have to elect leaders of their choice. Government House correspondent Jane Noah reports that Governor Emmanuel, who is also the chairman of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council, appealed to the people of the state to vote for all the party's candidates at all levels during the elections. The presidential and National Assembly elections hold this Saturday, while the governorship and state assembly elections is scheduled to hold on March 11, 2023. Still to come in the news. Kerosene surged by 136% to 1,105 naira in December. To stay with us. Of sexual abuse on tea plantations that supply some of Britain's most popular brands. More than 70 women working in the plantations in Kenya's Rift Valley told an undercover investigation by newsmen that they had been sexually abused by their supervisors for years. According to reports, the documentary broadcast this week caused an uproar in Kenya, one of the world's biggest tea exporters. Kericho County Women's Representative in Parliament, Beatrice Keme, whose constituency covers the areas where the tea farms are based, has called for the urgent prosecution of the perpetrators. Still in Africa, Guinea's transitional leader, Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, has urged the Constitutional Review Committee to consider the needs and realities of the country and draft a robust new supreme law. He warned the committee against drafting a copy and paste or tailor-made constitution for the country. The junta leader said that the National Transitional Committee is committed to drafting a new constitution for posterity and not one to suit the interim authorities. Meanwhile, opposition groups and the civil society have called for protests to demand the resignation of the transitional government. In the meantime, U.S. government has issued a travel advisory warning its nationals of possible militant attacks and kidnappings in Togo. It also cautioned Americans against traveling to Sokode, Bafilo and Mango towns near the Benin border. Northern Togo residents recently fled their homes after a militant attack on 2 villages bordering Benin killed 10 people. Meanwhile, Tunisian President Kais Saied has called for emergency measures to be taken against large numbers of irregular migrants from sub-Saharan Africa. Saied is quoted as saying that the influx of migrants was aimed at changing the country's demographic makeup in remarks criticized by rights groups as racist. The president spoke at a meeting with the country's National Security Council. Tunisia is a key transit point for migrants and refugees seeking to move to Europe. Meanwhile, dozens of migrants have been detained by Tunisian authorities in a crackdown. Elsewhere, people living in areas prone to flooding in Mozambique's southern province of Gaza will be forcefully removed amid heavy rains in the province. According to Provincial Secretary of State Lourenço Lindonde, a planned release of water from the Masinga Dam could also result in death. Meanwhile, Gaza is also likely to experience the weather effects of Cyclone Freddy, which has caused destruction in the island of Madagascar. Now, still in Africa, fighting resumed in the disputed towns of Las Anod in the self-declared Republic of Somaliland, which is situated in northern Somalia. The number of casualties from the latest fighting is not yet known, but the international began on February 6. It was sparked when Dulbahante clan elders reportedly issued a declaration stating that they no longer considered themselves part of Somaliland and that Sul, Sanag, and Kan regions would now be governed Somalia. Meanwhile, the US, Britain, and European Union are reportedly to announce fresh sanctions targeting military commanders and militia leaders involved in the ongoing fighting in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. This fresh round of sanctions will target military commanders from the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda. The two countries have treated accusations over the conflict in the mineral-rich region of DR Congo. Meanwhile, Eastern DR Congo has seen an escalation of fighting in recent days between Congolese. On the foreign scene, Russian President Vladimir Putin said relations between his country and China are reaching new milestones as Beijing's top diplomat Wang Yi wrapped up a visit to Moscow today. Wang's high-profile visit just days before the anniversary of Kremlin's full-scale invasion of Ukraine is that in December 2022, Putin and Xi held a virtual meeting in which the Russian leader described relations between the two nations as the best in history, saying they could withstand all tests, and invited Xi to visit Moscow in the spring of 2023. Wang arrived in Moscow just days after U.S. officials went public with concerns about how China's continuing policy. He announced plans to suspend Russia's involvement in its last remaining nuclear arms treaty with the U.S. Also on the foreign scene, the UN General Assembly met today, 2 days ahead of the anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, with Kiev and its allies hoping to garner broad support for a resolution calling for a just and lasting peace. The draft resolution, sponsored by some 60 countries, is to be voted on after the close of debate, not expected until at least Thursday. According to reports, the text underscores the need to reach, as soon as possible, a comprehensive, just and lasting peace in Ukraine, in line with the principles of the Charter of the United Nations. Israeli troops have reportedly killed 9 Palestinians, including a 72-year-old man, and injured 97 others during a rare daytime raid in the West Bank city of Nablus today. According to Palestinian health officials, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry in a statement, 6 men aged 23 to 72 were killed as a result of the occupation's aggression on Nablus. The Israeli army confirmed it was carrying out an operation in Nablus, but did not immediately provide further details. Meanwhile, the Islamic Jihad militant faction said 2 of its Nablus commanders had been encircled in a house by Israeli troops, triggering a clash that drew in other gunmen. Elsewhere, Germany today said it was expelling 2 diplomats from the Iranian embassy in Berlin over the death sentence of an Iranian court handed down against an Iranian German national. After the death penalty verdict Tuesday against Jamshid Shamad, German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock said in a statement, Berlin was declaring 2 Iranian embassy staff members to be persona non grata and ordering them to leave Germany immediately. Baerbock said she had summoned Iran's charge d'affaires over the case of Shamad, who supporters say was abducted abroad and forcibly returned to Iran for a show trial. Georgia's jailed ex-president Mikhail Saakashvili today accused state-appointed doctors of refusing to treat him and being part of an alleged conspiracy to kill him. His claims came after doctors told journalists earlier today that his health was seriously deteriorating due to drastic weight loss. He accused Georgia's ruling party, pro-government media, and now the hospital of being part of a special operation to kill him, of which they are witnessing the final stage. The 55-year-old pro-Western reformer was arrested in 2021, days after secretly returning to the Caucasus country from exile. He has been in hospital since last year after refusing food for 50 days to protest his detention, which rights groups say is politically motivated. Elsewhere, a teenage pupil stabbed to death a teacher in the middle of a lesson at a school in southwest France today. According to reports, the teacher of Spanish, 52, was teaching a class at the school in the seaside town of Saint-Jean-de-Luz when the 16-year-old attacked her with a knife. According to prosecutor Jerome Borre, the teacher was given emergency aid at the scene, but she died of her wounds. He added that the pupil was arrested and that a murder investigation has been opened. And now it's time for the latest business and stock market stories. Here is Blyden Okem.
Thank you, Xavier Roberts. Good evening. It's a new business day. My name is Blyden Okem. The average retail price per litre of household kerosene rose by 136% to 1,105 naira in December 2022 from 468 naira in the same period of the previous year, according to latest data released by the National Bureau of Statistics. The report titled National Household Kerosene Price Watch December 2022 stated that consumers in December 2022 paid an average of 1,105 naira, indicating an increase of almost 2% compared to 1,084 naira recorded in November 2022. On a year-on-year basis, the average retail price per litre of the product rose by 136% from 468 naira in December 2021. On state profile analysis, the highest average price per litre in December 2022 was recorded in Abuja with 1,383 naira, followed by Akwa Ibom State with 1,342 naira and Cross River State with 1,300 naira per litre. On the other hand, the lowest price was recorded in Bayelsa with 865 naira, followed by Jigawa with 905 naira and River State with 917 naira. The federal government is reviving shut-in crude oil wells in a bid to produce about 2.1 million barrels of oil daily, with an estimated worth of 2.4 trillion naira monthly from various drilling facilities in the Niger Delta. According to the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, about 900,000 barrels of oil per day could be produced from quick interventions on the shut-in wells, while the medium and long-term initiative could add 1.2 million barrels of oil daily. This implies that about 2.1 million barrels of oil per day, or 63 million barrels monthly, would be produced from the facilities. Still looking at NNPCL reports. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has said that Nigeria's oil production had increased to 1.6 million barrels per day, a few millions short of the 1.8 million barrels per day quota allocated to Nigeria by the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC. NNPCL's Group Chief Executive, Malek Kyari, revealed this at a meeting of industry stakeholders called to discuss the challenges of crude oil theft and losses affecting the oil and gas sector. Kyari, who was represented by the head Upstream Investment NNPCL, Balawunti, at the event, which was chaired by the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osibanjo, said the implementation of the Detect, Deter, Destroy and Recover program had paid off. Looking at Nigeria's economic growth. The economy of Nigeria advanced by 3.52% in the fourth quarter of 2022 from a year ago, accelerating from the third quarter's 2.25% rise and beating market estimates of a 2.33% growth. This marks the ninth consecutive quarter of expansion, driven by the non-oil sector at 4.44% against 4.27% in the third quarter, especially services a positive 5.69%. Agriculture also contributed positively at 2.05%, while the industrial sector shrank at negative 0.94%. In the meantime, the oil sector contracted by 13.38% after a 22.67% drop in the previous quarter due to large-scale crude theft and pipeline vandalism. The average daily crude oil production stood at 1.34 million barrels per day, up from 1.2 million barrels per day in the third quarter, but down from 1.5 million barrels per day a year ago. The Nigerian GDP grew by 3.1% in 2022 compared with 3.4% a year earlier. It's time to look at the Nigerian stock market report. At the end of today's trading session on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, a total of 129.914 million shares in 2,678 deals corresponding to a market value of 3.92 billion naira were traded. Compared with the previous trading day, today's data shows 27% improvement in turnover but 9% decline in deals. The current market capitalization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange is 29.6 trillion naira. The benchmark All-Share Index inched up 126.22 basis points to close at 54,315.53 points. In aggregate, 111 listed equities participated in trading, ending with 18 gainers and 11 losers. Geregu Power led the gainers with 10% share price appreciation, closing at 246 naira 40 kobo per share. While on the losing side, Mark Nichols came out last with an end-of-day price depreciation of 9.84% at 55 kobo per share. ICO Insurance recorded the highest volume of 16.2 million traded shares. This is all on business news. I'm back to Xavier Robert for the rest of the news.
Many thanks, Blyden. Still to come in the news. Osun reportedly won't rule out Napoli's summer exit. Do stay with us.
As Nigeria prepares for the general elections holding from 25th February 2023, broadcasters are enjoined to make ethical reportage their watchword. All political programs shall observe the provisions of the Nigeria Broadcasting Code and other extant laws relating to broadcasting. All broadcasting stations must adhere to the principles of pluralism and ensure equitable airtime to all political parties or views. All political programs shall adhere to the general principles of legality, decency, and truthfulness. For the avoidance of doubt, the broadcast of a political campaign, jingle, announcement, or any other form of partisan party identification or symbol ends not later than 24 hours before polling day. Hate speech is prohibited. Be professional. NBC, your right to quality broadcasting. Announcer Management.
The countdown is on as Nigeria decides who becomes its next president. The 2023 elections is upon us and the stage is set. At Spectrum TV, we have just one job: to keep you professionally and effectively informed round the clock as Nigeria decides. Spectrum TV Nigeria Decides Studio opens Friday, 24th February, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. and on the D-Day, Saturday, 25th February, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. as well as on Sunday, 26th February, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Join the conversation on our phone lines on 0704 541 7707 090 222 31011 and 0813 775 8639, as well as on all our social media platforms. Spectrum TV Nigeria Decides Studio. As always, join the conversation and watch us broaden your horizon.
One truth not often told is about the transformation that Africa has undergone in recent decades. Africa is shaping its own destiny and should be referred to as the African opportunity. On Spotlight Africa, we paint the African picture the African way, laced with truth, detail, and the color of the African continent. Join Uyai Anyekan every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. Spotlight Africa, telling the African story.
Every day, we bring you up-to-date information on topical issues affecting the common Nigerian. From issues on politics,
hello Nigeria, I remain committed.
Security, education, health, lifestyle, and so much more. Join Janice Kobum and Uyai Anyekan every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Rise and Shine Daily, exclusive on Spectrum Television.
Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the Constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigeria Police Force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My Lord, sorry, my Lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Many thanks for staying tuned. Now in health, Harvest Plus Nigeria, in collaboration with the federal government and development partners, has unveiled a nutritional guide to help Nigerians reduce the risks of malnutrition, which remained a national challenge. Chief Nutritionist Harvest Plus, Eric Boy, said biofortification uses conventional breeding to develop food crops that provide more of the essential vitamins and minerals, macronutrients required for good health. Eric noted that micronutrient malnutrition, known as hidden hunger in Nigeria, remains a public health challenge to be addressed, as approximately 1 in 3 preschool-aged children suffer from vitamin A deficiency, and over 50% of women are anemic. She explained that Nigeria's most consumed staple foods, such as traditional white, non-biofortified cassava, maize, and sweet potatoes, are low in essential micronutrients like vitamin A. Excellent. Health researchers said that they have identified a severe form of mpox in people with advanced HIV, which had a death rate of 15% among patients with AIDS. Mpox, previously known as monkeypox, has long been endemic in several African countries but started spreading across the world last May, affecting homosexuals. According to the World Health Organization, more than 85,800 mpox cases, including 93 deaths, have been reported across 110 countries. In sports now, Manchester United target Victor Osun has refused to rule out leaving Napoli in the summer, giving Erik ten Hag a major boost on his quest for a number 9. The £107 million rated striker has been in prolific form this season, racking up 19 goals and 4 assists in 23 appearances this season. Reports say the Nigerian, along with Man United's own striker Marcus Rashford, is one of the most promising forwards in world football at the moment. Meanwhile, Osun is currently leading Napoli on a quest for their first Serie A title in 33 years, and although the 24-year-old remains focused in Italy, he refused to commit his future there. Still in sports, the African Games scheduled to take place in Ghana in August have been postponed until next year after an agreement between major stakeholders running the multi-sport competition. Ghana's efforts to host the 13th edition have been hampered by an ongoing disagreement over marketing rights, which has delayed the completion of the required facilities. In October 2020, President Akufo-Addo announced plans to construct an Olympic-quality stadium at Baltimore for the Games. However, those plans were shelved in June 2021, with organizers opting to refurbish the University of Ghana Stadium, with work on the venue now behind schedule. Meanwhile, disruption caused by the coronavirus pandemic and rising costs because of high inflation have also been reported as reasons for the delay. In the meantime, Brooklyn Nets head coach Jack Vaughn has signed a multi-year contract extension. The Nets have the NBA's 5th best record at 32-19 since Vaughn replaced Steve Nash initially as acting head coach on November 1, having helped stabilize the franchise during a turbulent campaign which has seen Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving depart from the Phoenix Suns and Dallas Mavericks respectively. Vaughn has been given the chance to lead the team for the long haul, while the Nets did not reveal details of Vaughn's new deal. Per the team policy, a report from ESPN has claimed the contract will run through the 2026-2027 season. And on entertainment news, Spain will host the next Latin Grammy Awards ceremony, marking the first time the star-studded event is held outside the United States. Like the Grammy Awards, which are considered the top U.S. music honors, the Latin Grammys celebrate excellence in music and performances by Latin artists. The gala will be held in November in the southern region of Andalusia, the head of the Spanish regional government announced, without specifying the host city or exact dates. The gala, which was first held in 2000, is usually hosted in Las Vegas, although it has also taken place in U.S. cities such as Houston, Miami, and New York. Recall that Spanish artist Rosalia, known for her beautiful blend of flamenco music, won the Best Album prize at last year's Latin Grammys in Las Vegas. Still on entertainment, Kenyan comedian Eric Omondi has been freed following his arrest on Tuesday after leading a group of half-naked men in a protest outside Parliament. The group had carried banners while demonstrating against the high cost of living in the country. They demanded to meet the Speaker to submit their grievances. Police fired tear gas to disperse them and arrested 17 people. Today, they were charged with creating an unlawful assembly outside Parliament, but denied wrongdoing. They were each released on a cash bail of 10,000 shillings. Their lawyers said the group had wanted to meet members of Parliament to address the issue of poverty. Recall that in February 2022, the comedian locked himself in a cube outside Parliament to lobby MPs to increase the quota of locally produced music being played on radio and TV in the country. In the meantime, Apple Music has announced Afrofusion singer-songwriter David Deco, popularly known as Pause, as the latest featured artist in its Up Next Artist Development Program in Nigeria. Born and raised in Port Harcourt, Nigeria, Pause has been working diligently for several months alongside distribution and label services company Frame Music in order to fully realize his artist potential. His debut EP, Praise Play, released in 2023, available in stream on Apple Music and released through Frame Music, blends Afrobeats, Afropop, alternative, R&B, and amapiano to create a sound that's steeped in energy and evergreen melodies, anchored by the up-tempo Afrobeat single Koma. And finally, on entertainment tonight, Nadine Ibrahim's Beyond the Veil is set to premiere Prime Video following a licensing agreement with Amazon's global streaming service, and will premiere exclusively on the platform next month. The series follows the lives of 5 women living in Nigeria's capital city, Abuja, as they navigate work, love, family, and friendship. Showcasing the richness and diversity of the northern culture, Beyond the Veil displays the beauty of Arewa fashion, lifestyle, and tradition, while also highlighting social issues such as polygamy, drug abuse, gender-based violence, forbidden relationships, and unstable family dynamics. Beyond the Veil will be available exclusively on Prime Video across Sub-Saharan Africa from March 3, 2023. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. You've been watching Spectrum News at 9. My name is Xavier Robert, wishing you a terrific night rest. Good night.
The countdown is on as Nigeria decides who becomes its next president. The 2023 elections is upon us and the stage is set. At Spectrum TV, we have just one job: to keep you professionally and effectively informed round the clock as Nigeria decides. Spectrum TV Nigeria Decides Studio opens Friday, 24th February, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. and on the D-Day, Saturday, 25th February, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. as well as on Sunday, 26th February, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Join the conversation on our phone lines on 0704 541 7707 090 222 31011 and 0813 775 8639, as well as on all our social media platforms. Spectrum TV Nigeria Decides Studio. As always, join the conversation and watch us